Hello there everyone and welcome back to another Muunilinst mock update video. In this video I'm going to be completing the work that I started on the last large-scale building that you saw me work on in the previous two episodes. I also will be working on the main border that goes around the front side of the mock and fills up most of the filler brick, and I also add in an underground tunnel as well for this episode. So lots of exciting things, and without any further ado, let's get started. So the first thing that I did in this episode was worked on the building. From the previous episode, I had got a lot of work done in the previous episode, but I just hadn't finished it up quite yet. So essentially what I did was complete the railing all the way around. I didn't have enough pieces to complete like this same design all the way around. So I had to kind of improvise a little bit and use some different pieces there, but you know, sometimes that'll happen on large scale mocks. When you get towards the end, you just run out of pieces. So I just had to kind of improvise there. Nothing too special on those sides, but it's now complete. Looks a little more finished up, which I think is better. What I did do on top here is have enough pieces to complete a design that I actually was really wanting to use now in these arch pieces. I have a decent amount of them and I was wanting to use them a little bit more in the build just because I feel like Muunilinst has lots of arches and different kind of structures like this that work really well. So here is a close-up on the design. Nothing too special here. Got some cheese slopes leading up to two arch pieces connecting in the middle right there, and it's the same on the back side and on the other side right there. Three of the sides have these archways right here. I did not include an arch or kind of a railing design, and there goes the pilot. I didn't include a railing design on the front side here just because since it was destroyed, felt like it would kind of not make sense if part of the railing was still there, so I kind of made it just stop right here and kind of slope down with the cheese slopes just because this part of the building has just been completely destroyed as the gunship crashed through, and pretty soon, hopefully the next episode or two, we'll have crash landed right there. So I can now say that this building is pretty much complete now, guys, so I'm really liking the way this turned out. I think the destroyed section actually really adds a lot to the building. I don't think it would look as good if it wasn't kind of destroyed. I actually really do like it being partly destroyed there with the rubble. I think it just looks good with the masonry brick. Masonry brick always is really fun to build with and looks good. So definitely happy with the way this building is looking. And I'll probably go up and touch a few things up in the finale, but for now, this is what this final Muunilinst building looks like. Another thing that I did was start to build the border. So if you guys have been around for a while, on all the previous Brickworld mocks, they're all kind of outlined with dark gray bricks since they're built up so high to kind of incorporate different trenches and different divots in the ground and such. I always need a border wall, and Paul and I have always enjoyed kind of dark gray just because that's always been the most 2x4s that we have available, so we normally do dark gray 2x4s for the side for the border. So starting to get some of this done. This takes a while just because you're stacking bricks and it takes a lot of parts to do. But I've got a good start so far. Obviously, I still need to do the city portion. But even by just having a little bit of this done, it really does, it's one of the small things that makes the mock a little more complete. And it's very exciting to see the border start to get done just because there's no more filler brick in there. It's kind of all hidden and it makes me really excited. So I'm also going to be continuing that border in this episode and trying to finish that up. Another thing that has been in pretty much every Brickworld mock that my collab partner Paul and I have done are some sort of tunnels or hallways. If you remember the Clone Wars mock that I did previously, I included some hallways that were kind of one of the main points of the mock, and they had lots of really cool lights. If you remember those green lights with all the shock troopers in them, that was a big focus on the last mock. And up until this point, I hadn't really considered having any tunnels or anything in Muunilinst. I wanted the focus to be on the city and stuff like that. But now that we're nearing the end here, I'm realizing that it's going to be odd if this is just all a border. It feels wrong to not have any tunnels or anything for a mock like this. It feels really odd to not have any sort of tunnels or anything like that. So I'm going to try something this episode. It could work, it could not work, but I think it'll make for an entertaining episode anyway, so we're going to trial and error this and see how it works. But I want to have kind of a tunnel system down here that feels more like an underground kind of not like a sewage system, but like underground tunnels with like water and some like very low, shallow water that's kind of along the sides down here, flowing in and out of different kind of tunnels and things down here. But I really want to have some like dark gray metal, you know, rusty metal type vibe going on down here. I just want to see what it looks like. Obviously this isn't in Muunilinst on the 2003 Clone Wars, but I'm kind of taking some liberties on something that I think would be cool if there was some like secret tunnels underneath the city, where this would be like a maintenance sewer or stuff like that. Think of like a maintenance tunnel, things like that. I kind of want to try and see what that looks like. It could work, it could not, but so far what I've got is I'm starting to lay some of the dark gray plates where I kind of want the tunnel to go, and then I'm starting to put down some of the kind of detailing pieces that I want. So the problem is it's not built up very high, which means this tunnel has to be really small. Normally I build at least 10 bricks high for you know, any sort of layering, but this one's only I think 6 or 8 maybe. It's not a lot, so there's not a lot of room, so it's going to be a tight tunnel, which means there's not a lot of space to build, which is going to make this very challenging. But again, I want to use a lot of kind of masonry brick and really get this kind of underground maintenance tunnel feel. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on that and update you guys once I have some more progress. All right, so this is what I have come up with so far for this little tunnel space. I've been working a lot on it throughout this week when I've been home for a break, and I think it's turning out pretty good so far. Essentially, the last of my pieces have been used, and I was stretching some parts, but I think it turned out pretty decent. So up here in the front, I added in some of those trans black 1x2s and 1x1s to kind of make it look like that kind of more of like sewage water type things, or kind of mossy, or I guess more just like sewage water or city water kind of down in there. We've got some archways and different places where the water would come out. So I've got those down there, and they're outlined by the sand green masonry and dark bluish gray masonry. And down in here I've got some different slope pieces, and they're actually on jumper plates attached to the main 16x16 plates above, which essentially means I'm able to angle them in certain ways. As you can see right there, they are angled. They're going to take a little bit more work to kind of get them to line up perfectly, but I am happy with that. I kind of want to have a spot where clones and droids can take cover if there's going to be any fighting down here, which there probably will be. Take cover behind, and then I wanted to make it just not, because before I didn't have these arches, so it was just a flat hallway, and I thought it looked kind of odd, so I really wanted to include those kind of slope pieces as like it's an entrance to the next hallway. And I don't know how well back there you can see I've got the door back there. It's kind of hard to see. I apologize for that. There we go, that is a little bit better, but essentially I've got some different grill 1x2 grill pieces, and if you line them up kind of back to back like that, you get an interesting kind of circle in the middle. So I thought that was a really cool design. I've used it before for like some crates on different bases and hangers, and I've got also some dark bluish gray crates kind of lined up in the middle there and kind of creating an interesting door slash wall. So I've done that on both sides right there. So that is the kind of tunnel that theoretically would lead back into the rest of the tunnels underneath the main city. So overall, I think this area looks pretty good. I was kind of testing out to see how many minifigures I could get down here. Not going to be a ton, but I definitely could get a decent amount of minifigures down here. I do think it'd be cool to have the ARF Trooper, the Tiger Shark ARF Trooper, like maybe leading some guys down here as if he was like an advanced team that went in down into the tunnels to try to clear out some of the droids before he met up with Captain Fordo and the rest of the boys. So I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah, it's just a small area that I realized most of the other MOCs I've done have some sort of tunnel area in the front, and as I was starting to do the border, I realized, you know, just having a plain border is going to look kind of really not as not as good really, and not as clean. It's going to look kind of bland, and it may take away from the MOC if like just this dark gray border is right in front of the rest of the buildings. It might catch your attention, and that's not what I want. I want the attention to be on the buildings. So this kind of breaks up the border, and I think it works fairly well, and I'll show you guys here in a second a wide shot where I actually have completed the border on the front side, and it's looking pretty good. But there's lots of possibilities in here with minifigures. I think I can get some pretty cool action shots. It's too bad Grievous wasn't at this battle, because I'd love to have him down here in the tunnels like wrecking some clones, especially 2003 style Grievous. I feel like that'd be really cool, but he's not down here, but that's all right. One thing I was considering doing that I didn't really get around to doing this time that I might do in the finale is add some lights down here. I think that would actually be really, really cool, especially down, what I did is, if you notice underneath that Tiger Shark ARF Trooper down there, I've got a dark gray plate, but it's got the grooves in it and kind of some of the holes. So my idea was if I could put lights underneath there and have that shine up through that kind of piece right there, where there is like holes where an opening where a light could shine through. I think that'd be really cool. I've got one on each side, so if I could add lights in here, I think that's the next thing I would do, but I'm probably going to save that for the finale. So as I mentioned in the previous clip, I did actually end up finishing the border all the way around on this side. I still need to get that back side over there, but that'll be at a different time. I still have a few gaps I need to fill, in particular right over here in this area down over through here, but I want to leave that open just in case I need to get under the MOC. I don't want to block my access in case I need to fix something underneath the MOC. That would be bad, so I'll finish that up later, but otherwise, the border around this front side of the MOC is looking pretty good. It's one of those things where it just makes the overall MOC look that much more complete. It's a very small thing, but it makes it look more professional, more complete. You no longer see any of the filler brick and all the different colors that were underneath the MOC, so I think this actually looks a lot better, and we're really getting close, guys. This is kind of crazy. Last episode finished up pretty much this large-scale building, or I guess the beginning of this episode I finished up some of the roofs and railings. Got the border done. We are very close to finishing this part of Muunilinst. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the future of the series now. So no more progress for this video, just going to be a couple minutes of talking from here on out. So if you're going to click away, I understand that, but if you want an update on what's going to happen here in the future on Muunilinst, stick around and I'm going to talk about that right now. So what is there left to do on Muunilinst? First off, there's a lot of small things around the MOC that need to be fixed. Some different colors need to be swapped out. Some things need to be repaired, including that trench in the middle of the MOC that I absolutely destroyed on one of my live streams. Things like that need to be repaired. That is what the finale is going to be for. Finale is going to be, getting minifigures all figured out, as well as repairing small things here and there that need to be repaired, because a few things have been damaged just from filming the series and taking pieces away from different things and stuff like that, so I need to get that all under control and fixed. The last main two things besides all the repairs are going to be the gunship crash and the speeder bike charge. I've talked a lot about the speeder bike charge. That's something where I want to focus like an episode. I'd love to have one episode on the gunship and one episode on the speeder bikes, but maybe I'll just combine those episodes. So maybe we'll have one episode that'll just be about the gunship crash and the speeder bike charge, where I'm going to be custom building some speeders and kind of arming all the troopers up and getting ready for that epic speeder bike battle that I want to have in the cinematic video. So those are the last two things I need to complete. That being said, essentially what this means is it might take some time for me to kind of get those episodes out. Mainly, if you remember on the Clone Wars MOC update series, I kind of had a little bit of break between the last episode and the finale. That might be another thing to expect for this MOC. I'm not really too sure yet. I'm getting very close to winter break. Once winter break comes around and Christmas time, I'll actually be off of school and able to work a little bit more and finish up the finale and things like that. But yeah, next couple episodes, expect the gunship crash and the speeder bike charge. I'm really excited for those. It's going to be challenging. I'm not very good at vehicles, so just a fair warning on that, but it's going to be really fun. I've started on the gunship, the custom gunship that I'm going to try to do, where it's going to be mostly destroyed, and it's not really going to be a fully built gunship. I've talked a little bit about that, and I'll talk about it in the next episode. And then, of course, the speeder bike charge is going to be so fun. I'm so excited for the speeder bike charge, just to have all those speeder bikes charging and filling up the MOC. So that's going to be very exciting. If you guys have sticked around to till the end right here, I will give one last final kind of hint right here. I've also noticed I probably had the light in the shot this whole time. I apologize for that. I wasn't even paying attention. What is next after Muunilinst? If you guys have tuned into my live streams, I've kind of dropped a little bit of hints on how I'm not quite ready to be done with Muunilinst yet, perhaps, or how there's lots of things that I'm not able to include in this version of Muunilinst. So that's all I'll say for now. I still have some decisions to make for that, but that's going to be it for this episode, getting very close to the end. Next up, the gunship crash and the speeder bike charge. So that's about it. Let's go ahead and move on to the outro. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode. Definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions on this tunnel that I got done, as well as what I did at the start of the episode with the rails that kind of go around, all the railings that go around the top of the newest large-scale building. Definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions on that. And stay tuned for the next couple episodes. If you listened to that previous clip, we've got some exciting things coming very, very soon. As always, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.